You're listening to the Pure Motive Radio Network. You can reach us at puremotiveinc.com. That's puremotiveinc.com. And find us on Facebook. Simply look for Pure Motive Radio and like us because we like you. Now get ready and fasten your seatbelts because you're going to go on the ride of your life with Marti MacGibbon's Kickass Personal Transformation. Kickass Personal Transformation is a high-octane recovery talk show that provides you with tools you can use to maintain life balance, a sense of humor, motivation techniques, and messages of inspiration while creating and enjoying a new lifestyle in recovery. Guests on Marti's show are nationally headlining comedians with national TV credits, addiction treatment industry professionals, best-selling authors who write about addiction and recovery, thought leaders, along with health and wellness experts. The show is fast-paced, fun, and informative, and the show provides entertainment, education, and a discussion forum for people in recovery from addiction, or anyone who is involved with someone in recovery, or anyone interested in self-empowerment and personal development. During the show, call in and speak live with Marti. Dial toll-free 855-235-3451. Again, that number is 855-235-3451. If you're listening through your computer, smartphone, or tablet, you can chat live with Marti during the show. Simply scroll to the bottom of your browser and launch the chat room. And now your journey is about to begin on the Kickass Personal Transformation Show. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Marti MacGibbon. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
This is Steve Thompson, actually. Hey, Marti, how are you? So I wanted to start the show off here. It's kind of the tradition. Obviously, you could tell that this is not Marti's voice. It's our tradition on Pure Motive Radio to introduce the hosts of the show so you could get to know them. And first and foremost, though, I do want to apologize for the long introduction. Marti and I talked about it, and we decided that we're going to play a long introduction at the beginning so people can learn a little bit about the show. But with all of that, I've been really amped all day long, very excited. This has been months in the works, and it is great, Marti, to have you part of the Pure Motive Radio Network. So how are you?
I'm fantastic. And thank you, Steve, for having me on the network. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, let's do this. I am going to go to your website and take a couple of the highlights from it. People that are listening in, you could actually reach Marti's website. It's very easy. Go to nevergiveintofear.com, and that will take you right to her website where you can find out all about Marti. But I took a look at it earlier, and I think what's most amazing is that, I mean, you are an amazing person, Marti. You have had unbelievable adversity, but your message is that you can come up from rock bottom and have a good time in life. You could basically rebuild your life. Do you think that that's an accurate statement?
Yeah, you can rebuild, renew, and change the game. And you can be doing it, you can be having fun all the way up. I couldn't just keep on going.
So let me just give a couple of highlights here. Again, it is amazing. You have certifications. One is KDAC, and for our listeners who may not know what that is, can you explain a little bit what that is?
Yeah, I'm a KDAC too, and KDAC stands for Certified Alcohol or Other Drug Counselor, right? And I'm a 2, like that's level 2, which means I can teach. I can do presentations to other counselors and stuff like that. I mean, it's no big deal. It's just I'm a KDAC too, and then I have an international KDAC, and it's like whatever. And then I have another certification, the ACRPS, which is Advanced Certified Relapse Prevention Specialist. And I studied that with Terry Gorski. And it's a really good method of, anyway, I'm a relapse prevention specialist.
Well, you're perfect for my life.
I got you covered.
All right. I feel comfortable now. Another thing, best-selling author. Actually, you are an award-winning author. What awards have you gotten with your book?
Yeah, I won. I've got the National Indie Excellence Award, and it's it's in the category of addiction and recovery, actually. And the National Indie Excellence Awards come out of Beverly Hills, so they're kind of swanky. It's a pretty big contest. It's a national award. And my book I have a memoir of addiction and recovery called Never Give In to Fear. And and that's what I got the recognition for with National Indie Excellence Award. I've had a couple other awards. I can't remember what they are right now.
Well, hey, that Beverly Hills thing's amazing. We're going to touch upon your life in Texas. I guess you could say you're like a true Beverly Hillbilly, huh?
I'm a Beverly Hillbilly. That's right.
and here's another thing. You're a motivational speaker. You're part of the National Speakers Association.
Yeah, I'm a member of the National Speakers Association, and I speak on addiction and recovery and inspiration and overcoming adversity and challenges. That's
right.
So I'm a humorous. I'm a humorous motivational speaker.
Okay. Well, that's a good segue. You're also a stand-up comic.
Yeah. I did professional stand-up for quite a while. Let's see, close to, I don't know, maybe 8 years recently. 8 years stand-up comedy, professional stand-up comedy in recovery. And before I had a few years in before I went into addiction. Before I went over the cliff, I was a comic then too. But it's just like recovery. You don't count them all in a row. I mean, if they're not all in a row, you can't count them. Am I right? It's just like recovery. That's right. You can't say, well, I had 3 years and then I, But
some people do. Yeah. Some people do. We just don't believe them when they say it, right?
Yeah, right. Just like I had 300 days sober. It's just not all in a row. That's all it was. Right.
And then we have here Laughaholics. You actually founded that, and you're a producer. And we're going to get into a little bit more detail in all these, but let me go on. I mean, you've been on ABC, you've been on CBS. Here, you're an author, you're a motivational speaker, you've got certifications, so you're an addiction treatment specialist. I mean, you are perfect for our Pure Motive Radio family. I have to tell you that.
Well, that's really good to hear. I feel good. I feel really good about Pure Motive Radio. I love it. Recovery has a voice. I mean, that speaks to me. Yeah.
And there's one sentence, and then I'm going to stop reading from your website. People will have to go there again, nevergiveinTofear.com. But this really stood out, and I think it's a good segue into the next thing I wanted to ask you. But there's a sentence here. It says that you reveal simple, effective strategies that anyone can use to get back on track, build resiliency, reduce stress, and cultivate a sense of humor. Now, with that being said, I want to ask you why you picked the topic Kickass Personal Transformation?
Well, the topic, Kickass Personal Transformation is that's my word for combination of all kinds of the things that you just read about, the strategies for coming back and sharpening your sense of humor and using gratitude as a force. Kickass Personal Transformation, that's what I call it. It's like it's a program of daily renewal. Sound familiar? And it harnesses with Kickass Personal Transformation. It's like you harness these universal forces that are powerful and transforming forces, and they are gratitude, forgiveness, love, hope, optimism, courage, laughter, and fun. And those, when you can use those to change the game, right? So when we get into those things and use those forces in daily life, I have some game changers that I do that I've used in my life, because I was totally rock bottom. I mean, I came back from a lot of stuff and turned everything around, and it's in the present moment that we access recovery. I mean, we all know this, right? It's right. In the present moment. But one of the things that I found that in the present moment, there's this opportunity that's just right there. When you get into the present moment, you let go of worrying about the future or regretting the past, or wanting to go to the past or whatever. But I mean, if you're in the present moment and you're conscious and you're not judging and you're just there, the moment, the key is right there. The key to everything is right there. And there, in the present moment, you can make a conscious decision to be happy with no requirements, no expectations. I mean, that is the heart of Kickass Personal Transformation. It's just say, okay, this is my declaration of independence from conditional happiness, and now I'm making a decision for unconditional happiness. And I don't have to have any requirements here. I'm just going to be happy for no reason. It sounds crazy, but you know what? It's really simple, and it just works, and it opens the door to all these other things. And am I rolling okay?
I have to tell you, though, I mean, you and I have been talking about this for a while, and we thought of the title of your show, and we went back and forth off of Kick-Ass. Is that going to offend people? How's it going to be accepted? But I love it, and it just kept resurfacing, and it's like, you know what? That's what it has to be, right?
That's right. And, I was thinking, too, I was just thinking about this today. I'm so glad I didn't feel compelled to tone it down to kick butt, because, there's something about kick butt. It just sounds, it's just not quite, like if you're going to be saying butt, you might as well say, if you're going to say butt, you might as well say ass. It's like, there's bad ass, smart ass, right? It would sound so dumb to say, well, don't be a smart butt. I'm not going to feel like we have to tone it down. Well, he was such a smart butt, like he was such a bad butt. No. It was a kick.
I'm glad.
It was kick butt.
I'm glad it is what it is, and we need that every now and then, a little bit of kick right in the ass, that's for sure. Plus, we don't have the FCC regulations, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing, but I'm not going to lapse into anything more spicy than kick-ass. I'm going to keep my conversation very, very polite. And I have a background in stand-up comedy, so I could rock and roll the other direction, but I'm not going to do that because I'm on the radio and I'm talking about kick-ass personal transformation.
So
and on lots of other good stuff.
So I'm going to take you on kind of the evolution that we went through over the past several months. I was given your card by a friend, Brenna, who had actually called in. And this was when Laughaholics was going on. And so I got your card. She says, this is somebody you really need to call. And I did. and we had a brief conversation. I was looking forward to Laughaholics, and I messed up my calendar, and I showed up at the university on the wrong night. There was just me and a security guard. I'm like, hey, where's the big thing at?
I'm here for the big thing.
So I missed it.
That's right. You're one of the Beverly Hillbillies now, bud. You showed up on the wrong night. You're an honorary.
I'm like, where is everyone?
Yeah, right. Where y'all at? It's quiet in here. Where's Laughaholics?
This ain't funny.
Well, there's a guy sweeping up, like, what the heck? Yeah, I know.
So
you told me you showed up on Sunday. I thought, oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, well. But how did Laughaholics go? What is it?
Laughaholics isn't. I'm like, oh. Laughaholics is a stand-up comedy benefit for recovery, and we do it once a year in Indianapolis, and started in 2011, so we've had 3 of them, and we do it at the Indianapolis Museum of Art. It's the Toby Theater. There's about 550 seats in the theater, and so far we've packed it every one of the 3 years we've gone so far. And I book comedians who, colleagues of mine, comedians that I know, and comedians who are, let's just say, who are dedicated to recovery. And I book their national headliners with TV credits, and I book 2 headliners. So the show is made up of 2 headliners. And you get an extra. You'll never see a show like that anywhere. For it's $25 a seat. And every penny that we make on the show goes to our beneficiaries. And so the beneficiaries of Laughaholics are nonprofits in Indianapolis that provide transitional housing and access to treatment, addiction treatment and mental health treatment to people who have low income or no income. So we've benefited Talbot House, Dart House, Beacon House. I'm trying to think of some of the others. Anyway, you get the idea. Oh, and Lucille Rains, we've benefited them, and a small, there was another Sober Living, J.R. Jesse. Anyway, we've had a number of these nonprofits that we've benefited over the years. So it's been really fun. And
that's excellent.
And the website is Laughaholics, LAFF-aholics. Or you can find it on my website. There's a Laughaholics page. So that's our mission, though, is to not just to provide the money for our friends in recovery who are more vulnerable, because our community does come together for our most vulnerable members, but we also it's our twofold mission. The other half of the mission of Laughaholics is to provide laughter and fun and just a socially connected event for people in recovery. And people who are new in recovery have told me, I've had people say, hey, I was at Laughaholics in 2011. I had people come up to me at the subsequent shows and said, I was 48 hours sober, and I was shaking all over, and my friends brought me to Laughaholics, and now I'm the leader of this and that committee, and I do this and that, and I love recovery. And, it's great. And they tell me that the experience of just laughing was so much fun for them that it just really kicked ass on their recovery. I just really rocketed them into a whole new dimension of having fun and enjoying life in recovery and the fun of the lifestyle. Awesome. So that's Laughaholics. And we're doing it again in 2014, man. Doing it again.
Well, we'll have to keep everybody posted on that as it gets close. Let's take the next
step. It's a long way off.
Yeah, but let's take the next step. Okay. So the next step on our little journey here, after missing Laughaholics and talking to you, then we invited you as a guest on the show, and the show was a tremendous success. And we actually have a caller that I'm going to bring on now, and she is the host of the Serenity Sisters. And so I'm going to bring Jill Meek on. Jill, are you there?
I am here. Marty, welcome.
Hey, Hey, Jill. Thank you, and welcome on
family.
What did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
I said, welcome to the family.
Oh, hey, thanks. Oh, I love this. I've got a family now. This is great because my other one, my blood one, there's some things there,
We have dysfunction in our family, too, but we're a lot of fun.
Yeah, we put the fun back in dysfunction.
That's right. That's right. Marti, I love that you're on Pure Motive. When Steve told me that you were coming on, I was so thrilled. And you and I have had a conversation since then. And it's a funny thing. I made this phone call tonight, and I've listened to the whole show. I've been kind of just waiting in the wings. And when I called, I was kind of pissed off. I was like building up a resentment about something, and I sat here and listened to you, and I feel a lot better. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. That's
what it's all about. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It is. It is what it's all about. Recovery is a beautiful thing. Recovery rocks.
It does.
Yeah. Jill, I just wanted to say thank you so much for calling in. I'm going to put you back in so you could listen to the show, and who knows, we may reach out to you again. But let me put you back into the show, okay?
Okay, Marti, I love you. Welcome.
I love you too, Jill. Thanks for calling and being with us tonight.
No problem. My pleasure.
So this is actually what's cool. I don't know if the listeners, well, they probably don't realize it, but I'm here in Indianapolis, Indiana, running the studio. Jill is in Ventura, California, and Marti is up in Northern California. And right now I'm actually going to bring another caller on, and I think I know who it is. So let's hello, you're on. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, it's Christina.
I thought so.
Hi, Marti.
Hi, Christina. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. I'm so happy to have you on Pure Motive Radio, and I just want to say I listened to your show when you were on Jill and Meeks, and it was Jill and Anita's show, and it was amazing. And I've listened to this whole show, and you are just great. And I just wanted to welcome you and say you are doing an awesome job.
Well, thank you. You totally rock. I am a fan of your show and also of Jill and Anita's, so it's exciting to hear from you guys.
No problem.
So, Christina, I was actually talking to Marti a little bit earlier. My day was interesting. I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up, but since you're on the air, I get a very strange email because we have released a website, which is puremotiveinc.com, puremotiveinc.com, and my ex-wife went to the website and listened to your superhero show, Christina, loved it, and then started communicating. So now we have listeners in South Africa, Guam, Palestine, Denmark, Canada, all over the place. But I thought, Christina, you would like to know that now we got to be careful because my ex-wife is listening in.
I will keep that in mind.
So, thank you, Christina, for calling in. And tomorrow night we're going to have a compilation of your best of shows, and that is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you can go and have a good time with all of your friends and everyone else. But thanks for calling in, Christina.
You're welcome. Keep it up, Marti. You're doing great.
Okay, thank you. I'll be listening to your best of. Well,
so, Marti, since she's still on. She's listening. But since we're talking about family, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is you had mentioned your partner in crime.
Oh, you mean you mean Chris?
Yeah.
My partner in crime. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not like he's family. I mean, I married him, so it's not my cousin. I mean, we're not really Beverly Hillbillies.
Right. Well, you're your own family.
Yeah, we were co-defendants. Co-conspirators. Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing that you're still together and you made it through the tough times, and you guys are living this wonderful life. Wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
We've been together 26 years, and we came into recovery together. So we were in the underworld together, sort of. I guess you might call it the underworld. And
so you made it to who actually, if you don't mind me asking, and by the way, none of these questions are rehearsed, so
that's good.
We're just springing it on you here.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm cool. It's fine.
So who made it in first? What happened there?
Yeah, Chris did. He and it's in my book. I'm not. Yeah, but it's a really good story. That, but so I had to write a book. Anyway, but he went in. He got into recovery first, and he came home one time. I think he had to go get the car out of impound, or one of those things that you have to do. That's part of the insanity of your everyday life in active addiction or alcoholism. Or when I say addiction, I mean alcoholism or addiction. You know what I mean? I just want to get that straight with people that are listening. When I say addiction, I don't mean addiction, drug addiction, and alcohol being a separate disease. I just think of it all as one big disease.
Right.
But, in that, he came home and he said, we have got to quit. He said, this stuff is getting way out of hand. he's like, we have got to quit this stuff now. And actually, he didn't say stuff, but you know what I'm saying. Insert. Right. And I said, what do you mean we, mofo? And I didn't say mofo. You know what I mean? Because I was just such a hard case. I had so much denial. And he went in first. He started going to meetings, and he started making progress. And at first I was so mad at him. So I had lost my my wingman. I had lost my dope using buddy, and all that. And then also it's just like I knew that things were getting better for him, and my denial was so strong I didn't want to admit it. And I just would be, I'd be up late at night on like speed or coke or something, and like wiping down the kitchen counters, and I'd be like, he calls himself clean. This is clean, like that. Trying to justify. And then finally, I just reached this point where I got a glimpse of the present moment, which is pretty rare when you're in active addiction like I was. I had a really serious problem, and but I had this moment where I just saw how unhappy I was, and I couldn't deny it. And I was like, that's when I made a prayer. I mean, I just sort of it was like the heathen prayer for the junkie, but I just kind of screamed out, God help me, like I'm so unhappy, that kind of thing. And then I had this little miracle, that happened where my mind quieted down, and it was like, hey, maybe it's the drinking and the drugs. And then I thought, hey, maybe it is. And that was like my miracle. And that's when I knew that I was going to take action. But I was so happy from that moment on. It was just like that present moment consciousness. And I was just so happy because I finally could see. I was like the last person on this planet to know that I had a problem with addiction. Like I was the last one to really realize it. The whole world knew. But I took the steps to begin. And I couldn't get into a rehab. I couldn't go to a program. I wanted to, but I was indigent, as they call it. Clinically, I had like no money. But I just started doing working the program, just doing it. And it worked. And it's, I've got 18 years now.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Just hearing you talk about, where you have been, where you're at now, you are a shining example of turning liabilities into assets, and that.
And a
I think
horrible
that is
warning of what not to do prior to. I'm sorry I interrupted. It's like a shining example. And that's wonderful. I have never been called a shining example. That's fantastic. Because I
well, you are.
Say I was never a shining example, but I've been a horrible warning. Don't do this. The stuff that I did before, look out. But yeah,
so
I
actually have seen a video of you doing the stand-up, and I have to admit it's hilarious. One thing that stands out in my mind is when you have these nicknames. I forget what they are, and then you get arrested, and then the real names come over the police scanner.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah, that was well, when I was I was heavily into the drug scene at a certain point. And at a certain point, I was a street dealer, right? But in the circle of friends I was in at that time, I never knew anybody by their real name. Like everybody had an alias.
Right.
That's how it is. It's a whole different world, Everybody's got like an underworld code name kind of thing. But I was either too high or too lazy to come up with anything better than Marty, So anyway, this one time I was out with this friend of mine named Smokey, right? And we had just dropped off a load of contraband at this one drug house, and we were coming out of there, and we were feeling, pretty relaxed because we weren't holding anymore. And we started getting kind of careless, and we jaywalked, right? And we got busted for jaywalking, and the cops, we had warrants. And so the cops were jacking us up, and this one cop says to Smokey, "Okay, Elwood, get in the car." And I'm like, Elwood. And then the other cop's like, "Well, what's so funny, Martha? Get in the damn car," right? And then Smokey's over there like, "Martha?" And then they took us to jail, but we were released on our own recognizance, so we were out like the next day. But the junkies in that dope house had been listening on a police scanner. So the next time we saw them, they were like, "Oh, man, we were so worried about you guys. The heat on the streets was really bad last night, man. The cops were even jacking up some old couple named Elwood and Martha." They were like, "No one was safe, man." But that's how that world is. And that's the thing. When you're in recovery, you know what that's like. It's a whole different world than regular people can possibly comprehend. That's what I love about this network, is that we get it.
Right. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because, Christina was just on. She's the host of the One Upper Show. When I met her, I accidentally ended up in celebrity rehab, and I met her there, but her name was Utah, because that's where she was from. I didn't even realize what her first name was, but
so that was her. That was her street name, was Utah. That was her drug dealer name, Utah.
No,
that's a good handle.
It was just because she was from there. I don't think she was a dealer.
Okay.
But
okay. Because that would be a great handle. I mean, not that anybody's going to relapse, right? We're not going to have that. We have to need that handle. But, I mean, that would be a good handle. And like Dakota used to seem to me to be a good alias back in the day. But then they had the Dakota Fanning, and it took the edge off. But I always thought Dakota sounded pretty bad, but,
Yeah, I don't know what mine would be. I guess I'll have to figure out what my name would have been. But anyway. So, this does bring up a good topic. I know that that you were mentioning comedy and humor, and, I love to laugh. And there's different roles that I learned while I was in jail, actually. I learned that there's different roles. We were forced to sit and listen to counselors, but they said there's different roles.
I know what's going on. I was in jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So
what what I wanted to bring up is that the different roles that people would play. Now, in my family, I was the comedian, but they have other roles like the champion, the nurturer,
the
problem.
mascot, the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the roles in the family, yeah. And you may have several different roles at different times, right?
Right. Now, I feel
that's
comedy
Claudia Black, by the way. That was a research
it is.
Claudia Black. Yeah, she did that. She was a psychologist that kind of pioneered that whole thing with the family. Yeah. Now, there have been different spins on that, but anyway. But I think Jill backed me up on that.
Yeah, maybe. But, you know, you mentioned how important humor is, and I agree with that. It's been very helpful for me to deal with tough situations, and it is a good defense. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes. If it wouldn't have been for being able to be funny, I would have had my ass kicked in jail so many times. I was funny when I was in jail, and that was a good thing for me. It really, I realized it later. You know, years later, as a clear-eyed, sober person, I look back and I thought, wow, if I hadn't have been funny, they would have killed me. You know? It is a defense. It is a defense. It's also, I think, to see it as a healing thing. I mean, laughter, really, like sarcasm and mean humor can be like a weapon. You know what I mean? It can be aggressive and it can be a weapon. But the kind of laughter like we have at Laughaholic, where everybody's just laughing together, and it's just a shared feeling of just the unity of and just really just laughing and just having that experience and just really enjoying it and celebrating recovery and laughing together. It's just it's such a good thing because it's not mean-spirited. There's a healing spirit to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't go for some of the mean stuff. But I know there's a lot of mean comedy that's really popular now, and I can dig it. I've watched some of the shows, and you know, But I the stuff that I really like is something that's like a feel good, laughing. I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it disarms. Like laughter disarms. Like if people are. So in a way, like laughter as a defense, I don't know if it's not really like a defense mechanism, though. It really isn't, because when you're if you have laughter, it dispels a lot of tension. If there's nothing like for an icebreaker, then to just laugh. You know what I mean? If somebody makes a like my partner in crime, Chris, when he was in school, he was in business school, and he had this really tough professor, and they had this real difficult assignment of some kind of international finance, some kind of real horrible stuff, and the guy was a real hard professor, and he had some kind of thing, like he had, at the end of it, they were taking a test, and he said he was in the test, it was like a complete disaster to get down to the end of it. What is your conclusion based on this, blah, 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 what's your conclusion? And that was the end, the last one of the test. He wrote, forget graduate school. That was his final conclusion. But what worked out was that the professor laughed so hard when he was grading the papers that he changed the curve, the curve of the grade.
That's awesome.
It was a perfect example, you know, like of how, and you know, Chris was in recovery when he was in school. You know what I mean? Like, but it was just so cool that happened. He actually made the grading curve easier. So that everyone in the class benefited from that one funny comment that struck home. And
that's a perfect
that's an example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I know that when I get on the phone with Jill and with Christina and with all of my friends, I mean, it is great. I mean, it's there's a lot of laughter. I believe that's healthy, and you know what you're bringing to the table is an example of how we can be at extreme lows in our life, but we can use tools or methods to bring ourselves up and realize what our dreams are. I think that's what you're going to do with your show. Yes,
and laughter is one of the tools, and also we know willingness, open-mindedness, honesty. Those are tools. But things like laughter and fun and having new experiences, like just being willing to have new experiences within reason. I mean, we don't want to, but it's something that and just being able to just ask what's next. You know, just always say what's next, no matter what happens.
Right.
I find that that's just a really, really simple but helpful thing. Just say what's next. If I get hit by something, you know, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Cat explodes.
Right.
What next? Soup boils over. What next? You know.
Did you just say cat
next?
Explodes?
Well, I just pulled that out of the air. I wouldn't be the cat explodes, but cat throws up. Okay, the cat throws up. What next?
I just had a visual.
Find somebody else to wipe it up. You know, that's what it's going to be. Flat tire, what's next? I'm going to call AAA. I don't know about you, but that's going to be my what's next.
Oh, yeah. That's
somebody
another.
Listen to this that doesn't have AAA and doesn't like change of tires, get AAA. That's what's next.
Right. Exactly. Kind of obvious.
Yeah, right. Yes,
so,
right.
We've got a little bit more than 15 minutes left, but one thing that I really wanted to talk about or have you talk about is the lineup of guests. I mean, we started talking, and I tell you, you are definitely a mover and a shaker. It's hard to keep up with you, but why don't you give us some insight on what the upcoming shows are going to be?
Oh, yeah. This is, okay, my favorite topic, I guess. So I've got next week, January 6th, I've got Paul Jasek, and he is a nationally headlining comedian. He's the host of a hit radio show on LA Talk Radio. It's called Oh Mary, The Oh Mary Show. He's a co-host. He's got 200,000 listeners, and you'll see why when you come in and listen to the show. And he's had a long-running hit show in Hollywood called Confessions of a Beverly Hills Shampoo Boy, and it's in development as a film. And he was a writer for Joan River. Anyway, he's a bunch of stuff. And you can read his bio by going to my website, GlendaNeversInterview.com, and looking at events for January 6th. And then I think also it's going to be on the Pure Motive thing. We'll have something about him. And Karen Ronkowski is my guest on January the 13th, the following Monday. She is if anybody that's listening from Indianapolis went to Laughaholics in 2012, they will remember Karen Ronkowski. She's a stand-up comedian extraordinaire. She killed on Letterman in 2012, just totally killed, and she's scheduled for another appearance this year. David Letterman got up from his desk and walked up there and shook her hand, and he doesn't get out of his chair very often. She's extremely funny, and just I can't say enough. And in her other job, she's a ghost hunter. So I'm hoping that she will talk about her work as a ghost hunter. So she's a comedian and ghost hunter. And then and we'll see.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just for we'll just see whatever. Okay, and then then I've got Bob Tyler, who is he's a leader in the addiction treatment field, and I interned with him in Los Angeles at Twin Town Treatment Center. He just resigned from his administrative position at Twin Town that he's had for many, many years, because he started a business that's devoted to providing recovery referrals and recovery services to people who have no money. And I'm very interested in hearing about that. And also Bob was politically really active as an addiction counselor. He was president of the California Association of Addiction Counselors, and he brought in, he spearheaded some of the legislation change that happened to make addiction treatment one of the mental health fields. And that's really helped a lot. So it's very fascinating. He's also really funny. And then I've got, I have Leonard Bichelle on the 27th, and Leonard has two nonprofits. One is Writers in Treatment, which is in Los Angeles, and they provide support and resources to professional writers who have gone through treatment, who are coming back from addiction or alcoholism, and if you will, and he also has the Real Recovery Film Festival, which is an international film festival, and it's films about recovery, documentaries, shorts, all kinds of stuff. I saw the Bill W. documentary over there last year at the festival, and they had the man who the filmmaker was there answering questions, and it was just it was just wonderful, and the films there were just amazing. And so then and he does that in New York and L.A. and Vancouver and Miami and whatever. And then and he'll tell about that. And he also has a benefit coming up. It's a big event in L.A. Mid-February that he'll tell us about. It's the Experience, Strength, and Hope Awards, where he gives he honors an author who is celebrities who have written books that tell about their journey into recovery and who are honest about that. So that's a real exciting thing. So I'm hoping, 1 hour isn't even enough for this guy. For any of these people, they're great. And then the following month, do you want me to keep going, or is that enough of the sample?
Yeah.
Because I've got 3 months of people lined up.
I
know. And then we've got the recipient of the Experience, Strength, and Hope Award, who is she was the hairdresser to the stars, is Carrie White. She has a book called Uppercut. So she's going to be our guest the first week of February. And then after that, I've got David Parker, who just opened a treatment facility in Orange County. And he's really a fascinating person, extremely funny, and he's one of us. Just like all the people that are my guests are one of us. They're with us. They're our people.
Right.
And then on the February, and then on February 17th, I'm looking at my calendar. Who have I got? Hold on. Am I going too much? Let's see.
I put you on the spot here totally, but I mean the point is that the lineup of the guests and I believe with Dr. Terry Gorski. Now, you trained with him or under his program, right?
Yes, and Terry Gorski is an internationally renowned research psychologist who his research on relapse prevention, on the disease of addiction, on rebuilding a new lifestyle, and relationships, things like that. The stuff that his body of work can be found in treatment facilities all over the country and all over the world. And he is fascinating. He's written about 50 books, and he's phenomenal. And I studied under him, and we're lucky enough to have him be our guest in March. And I got comedian Sadie. I got Doug Starks, who was our headliner in 2012. He's coming on February 17th. Then I've got a pain management guy, Steve Grinstead. He's a addiction-free pain management. He's absolutely fascinating, and also got a personality too, so that's good. I mean, these guys that are the big brains, they've also got personalities. We're not booking just talking heads here. We're booking people. And then I got another comedian. In March, I've got Jerry will be on, and then I've got Mary Kennedy, who is a hilarious comedian and very, very funny. And she's going to tell some really, really funny, and she's also co-host of a radio show on LA Talk Radio. And then I have Rich Scheidner on the 17th. He'll be there to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with us. Unless something happens where he's called away on a cruise ship or some other thing to do comedy. He's very, very funny, and he was one of my Lapaholics headliners in earlier years. And he is an icon of the stand-up comedy world. There's a movie called I Am Comic that features him. It's a documentary about stand-up comedy, and he was a writer for Roseanne and Married with Children, and an HBO writer. He's been in an HBO special.
Oh,
He's been on The Tonight Show and Letterman dozens of times, both Tonight Shows, Carson and Leno. And he's just fantastic. And he also is the founder of a show, long-running comedy fundraiser that actually inspired Laughaholics called Yuckaholics. It's in Los Angeles, been going for about 26 or 27 years, where they've had stand-up comedy. And so he's going to be fun. And then the 24th, they're having Steve Bluestein, who is a lifelong stand-up comic, one of the best, extremely funny. And he's got 2 books. And one of them is It's So Hard to Type with a Gun in My Mouth. And the other one is 49 and a Half Shades of Bluestein. So I'm going to talk about those 2 books that are very, very funny. And then on the last week of March, we have George Manis, who is absolutely fantastic. He's a theater guy. He has comics. He does all kinds of stuff. He's an award winner and all over the place. We're so lucky to have him. And after that, I can't tell you any more people because it's just going to take too long, and nobody's going to remember anyway. But that would give you an idea.
It's definitely impressive, and we are running out of time, Marti. And so, the point is that, the lineup of guests that you have is going to be fascinating, from comedy, from, the perspective of the science behind it, the medicine behind it, but all having a good time. And you yourself are a testament to, you can turn your life around, no matter if, like your book, Never Give In to Fear. Tell us the title of it again.
Oh, the subtitle is Laughing All the Way Up from Rock Bottom. It's a very long subtitle, but I thought it would be handy to have.
Yeah. So people, I'm going to just say a couple more things, and then I'll give you a couple minutes to say what you wanted to say, and then we have to do the outro, which is going to take a couple minutes. So we are running out of time here, but I do want to say that we are very fortunate to have you here on the Pure Motive Radio Network. Very grateful to have you on. And we're really looking forward to the guests that you're bringing on. It's going to be a great time, and you bring to the table a lot of insight, experience, and I can't thank you so much. I mean, I can't thank you enough for being willing to do this. It truly is an honor to produce the show for you. And I know with Jill and Christina and Anita, we're all rooting for you, and all of us working together, we're going to make this thing happen even on a much broader scale than it already has. So with all that being said, are there any final messages or things that you want to say?
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you, Steve, for making my Monday nights a lot more fun and exciting, because Mondays have changed for me now. It's Mondays is going to be the night, and I can't say I'm so grateful to be a part of the network, and I'm grateful to your listeners, and I know you have a staggering number of listeners, people who are in recovery and living the lifestyle that we live and love, and I look forward to celebrating recovery with everybody that tunes in to this show, whether it's on your phone later or now or whatever. And it's been kind of weird being just the only guest on my first show, but
right.
You made the time go by really quickly, and I want to thank Jill and Christina for calling in. That was so nice to be welcomed into the family. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Recovery is a really it's a wonderful thing, and it's just it can be just a whole lot of fun, and when it's done right.
One more thing, how do people get to your website once again? Can you share that with us?
Yeah. You can just type in nevergiveintofear.com, and that will take you to my site, and then you can familiarize yourself with my unusual name, which is Marti MacGibbon. And nobody's going to know how to spell that without me going, so once you get to the website with Never Give In to Fear, you'll see my name there, and then you'll know me. And you can reach me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm at Marti MacG, MartiMacG. I guess that's all I can say. Check out my website. I do have that book. I gave it away free for a few days right around Christmas, and that was my Christmas gift. If anybody downloaded it, I hope you like it. And, whatever. That's all I got to say. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope everybody else is having fun, too. Tune in next week. My guests are amazing, and we're rocking it forward I got plenty of comedians and authors and all kinds of people coming up from this year. So I hope you'll come and rock it with me so I can stay on this cool and fancy network.
Well, I mean, we are running out of time. I mean, there was so much more that I wanted to get into. I mean, you've been in the oil fields, working with a lot of geologists. I mean, your story is fascinating.
That was a cool job. That's the coolest job I've ever had, and I was a raging alcoholic, so it wasn't a good fit at the time. But that was a cool job, setting off dynamite charges.
Well, we don't know the callers. We don't know the callers that will call in, but we were talking a little earlier. I do have an explosion sound effect. We'll just keep that in our back pocket in case any calls go off on the wrong tangent. Christina has the machine gun. Now you've got the explosion. I thought it was appropriate for your oil field days.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
Well, once again, Marti, it has been a lot of fun. I have to confess a mistake here on my part because the studio is still letting me know that there was 33 minutes, but this is a 60-minute show. So if you've been watching the studio, I hope you're not panicking thinking that we still have the 33 minutes left. I'm not
panicking. I'm just rolling with you, Steve. I know you're the captain on this one.
Yeah, we got it covered. But so once again, thank you so much for being on, and for everybody listening out there, tune in next week. Marti will actually kick off her show with her guest, and that is on Monday nights. Her show will be every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we do have the One Upper Show, which is the compilation of several of Christina's shows, and that is at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then finally, last but definitely not least, the Serenity Sisters, which will be on from 7 p.m. every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. until 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thanks again, Marti, and we're going to play your new outro, and next week hopefully we'll have the condensed, more appropriate version. We just made it long since this was your premiere show. Thank you, Marti.
Thank you, Steve, and good night.
Hello, friends. This is Steve Thompson, executive producer at Pure Motive Radio. We hope you've enjoyed the Kickass Personal Transformation Show with Marti MacGibbon. And tune in next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Marti will have more of this entertaining, inspirational, motivational program broadcast to you. Kickass Personal Transformation is brought to you by the Pure Motive Radio Network. Hey, check out our website. Simply go to www.puremotiveinc.com. Again, that's puremotiveinc.com. We're also on Facebook.